Welcome, everybody. This is part 2 of Stairway to Heaven, Songs of the 70s. And today's class is going to be more about answering your questions about where things are on your instrument. And yes, I have lots of presets, unless this is the most difficult song I've ever done. And it's not about my arrangement as much as it is about what can you learn about where things are on your instrument, so that the more you understand about your instrument, the easier it's going to be for you to play. Okay? So, I just had a question. Barbie, go ahead and repeat your question.
Okay, I have to unmute myself. All right, there you go. I noticed that it said on the actually more than one line, it's left hand. And is that on the upper keyboard? And you said, yes, it is.
Yes.
And so you're just playing that E note, for instance, in the first measure, and then the rest of it is on your right hand, correct?
That's correct. Okay. So the left hand is going to be playing single notes on that intro. The left hand is going. You're going to have both left and right hand on upper keyboard. Okay, and it's going to say LH, left hand. So
there are no chords.
I took it or not.
It's a no chord. It's going to be on a no chord for the first preset. And so left hand is going to be for the first line and a half. And it's going to have LH. You're going to play an E with your left hand. Then these notes you're going to play with the right hand. Then you're going to play a D sharp. You're just going to go in descending chromatic. Then you're going to play a D. Then you're going to play a C. All right. Then when you come down here, you're going to play a C, and then here you're going to go even lower and play F sharp E E, while your right hand is playing all these other notes where the stems are going up. Well, I guess they don't all go up.
So when you hit a no chord, that will hold when you take your hand off it.
Correct. Now, the no chord.
Could you show the bottom of that again, please? The lower section, way down.
Oh, the lower section? The lower section, you're going to be playing chords. When you go to A2, now you're going to be playing chords. And so your left hand is going to go back to the lower keyboard for A2. Okay?
Okay.
And then when you get to A3, and I know A3 is a little bit, I should have rewritten it. 8VA is meaning play the right hand an octave up. And I wrote that in at the last minute, and I already had my chords written in, and actually the chords and the 8VA should be flipped. The chord should be on top. So if you want to put boxes around your chords so you know what they are, you might want to do that. G is a chord, A is a chord, C major 7 is a chord. And then your right hand, which is here, is going to be played an octave up. And so that's going to be played an octave up for that whole rest of the part for A3.
That makes sense.
A4 is actually where your music starts in your book. So the introduction actually has 3 presets. 3 presets. And if you listen to what Led Zeppelin actually did, it was very simplified. They were only using excuse me, they were only using acoustic guitars and recorders. So you have to simplify. You pick a rhythm and you simplify. And the rhythm I chose was soft and easy guitars. Now, if you've got an easy 4 or an easy 10, you want to choose smooth guitarist. Smooth guitarist, and that's going to give you the same thing. But make sure you put your drummer all the way to the top, because if you don't have that, your no chord is going to give you nothing. So you have to make sure your drummer's on. So I am on guitars, which is under soft and easy. If on the E organs, like Marquise, Grand Marquise, then it's under gospel. If you can't find it, go to your keypad, go to the G's, and go to guitars. That's the name of the rhythm. And then when you do the no chord, you get a little drum beat, because that's what's going to keep you in time, even though I'm playing everything on the upper keyboard. The no chord just gives me the drum beat. So you need that no chord there to give you your drum beat. So the smaller organs, it's smooth, guitars, put your drums all the way to the top. And that'll work for the beginning of the song. Now the second part, what am I doing for the next preset? And we will talk a little bit about memorizing presets if you want.
10.
But I just want to make it as easy as possible right now for the people that don't have presets. What's here? I put a pan flute in my left-hand chord sound. Now some of you aren't going to have that. So you're not going to have that. Some of you don't have those kind of choices. You can either have flute or strings or piano, and that's pretty much it. So you're going to have a guitar down there if you've got an easy 4 and an easy 10. So what you want to do is you want to put your pan flute the same place as your guitar and just layer them together.
Oh, I didn't send the other one.
It's going to sound a little different. Now how do you do that? You have to go into, on the right hand side, your more section or your woodwind section and find a flute or a pan flute. And then make sure that you play that with the guitar. And then you'll have the two sounds together. And that you can play pretty much the whole first part of the song just like that.
Dawn, are you on the first page now talking about
I'm still on the intro.
the intro? Yeah. Okay, you said the second part. No.
There's 3 presets on the intro.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Because when you go to the bottom, what am I missing? I've got my pan flutes now in the lower chord.
I don't mean to do that.
Where do you get lower chord sounds? See, where do you get the lower chord sound? Lower tabs. Lower tabs are your lower guitar or your lower sounds for your chords. Lower tabs. Now, if you are on a fanfare, you don't have tabs. You have to go to, there's a part that says left or lower, and it's going to say like ensemble, flutes. Hold on. Give me 1 minute. I have a fanfare right here. Yeah, it'll say lower left, flutes, ensemble, and more. Okay? So go to the more and see if you can find pan flute. No, you don't want any flutes. Flutes are organ sounds. Ensemble are string sounds. Go to the more and see if you can find a flute to put in your lower chord. Now, what else am I missing? I'm missing background. I have no bass. So you have to turn your bass off. So you have to find your bass and turn it off. You have to also find the A organs are going to be either Genie and Orc Plus. Those are your inside beats. On the E organs, Marquise, Grand Marquise, it's going to be Basic and Orc Plus. Basic and Orc Plus, and it's 2 buttons over here. So when you simplify the background, you need to know where these are so you can turn them off. Okay? Any questions on that so far?
John, when you say the more button, are you talking about the more button in the category presets?
No, 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 we're talking about lower left. Lower left. If you've got a fanfare and a journey, you've got buttons over here that say lower left, and that is for your lower left chord sounds. Okay? If you've got tabs, your lower tabs, that's what the function of your lower tabs is. Your lower chord sound. So when you play a chord, it gives you the hum. That is the function of those buttons or tabs.
Lower tabs. Yeah, I have lower tabs.
Did you find them? Anybody not finding them?
I'm not finding them.
Okay.
I know
All right.
I have lower tabs.
Lower tabs, and it'll say lower. It'll actually, if you read your organ, it'll actually tell you right where it is. Lower tabs are all the tabs on your left-hand side. All those tabs create your lower chord sound.
But that button is on.
Fanfare and Journey, you're going to have 3 gray buttons on this side that say lower left.
It says on mine, lower tabs, and then on the left of that, it's lower flute, sustain, flute, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that what you're talking about? The lower
Yeah, all those lower tabs are what make up your lower chord sound. See, if I were to turn on, in my lower tabs, if I were to turn on flute 8, flute 4, flute 2, flute 2.5, strings 8, vocal, that's my lower chord sound. So what we're going to do is take off everything. Take off your strings, take off your flutes in your lower tabs. The only sound you want on is a lower pan flute. So if you've got a lower genius or a lower sound, or if you've just got a button that says more, you want to go in the more and scroll until you get to a flute or a pan flute. All the instructions are right here on how to turn all that stuff off.
Okay.
But I do know fanfares, journeys, easy 4s, easy 10s, and those are going to be a little bit different. So that's why I'm here to try to simplify it and just so you know where things are and what they do. That's what this is about. Questions so far?
Yes, the lower tab red button has to be on in order for the other ones to work, correct?
Yes. If you've got a master lower tab red, that has to be on in order for any of these to be on. I can turn that off, and if I have even every single tab lit up, but my master tab is off, I got nothing. Nothing.
Got it.
You have to have that lower master tab on. You want to turn off everything except your lower sound and turn it into a pan flute. Now, how do you do that? If it's a sound or a genius, you can do 2 ways. Any of your genius or sounds, and you've got lower, you've got upper tabs, you've got lower tabs, you've got sounds in your red orchestral or geniuses. Genius and sound mean the same thing, depending on which organ you have. You have solo. Genius or sound means the same thing. That's the blank tile in your Scrabble box that you can make anything you want. If it says more in your ensemble or in your lower left buttons, that's the one that you can make whatever you want it to be, whatever's in there. So you just have to touch it and scroll. So how can I change it? Well, that's the first way to do it. Touch, it'll come up in the window, and then I touch it in the window, turn it blue, and scroll. It's alphabetical. Go to P's, go to pan flute solo. And you just scroll. Once it's in the window, it's there. You don't have to push select or anything else. It's there. Once you push it, it's there. The easy way, if you have a touch screen organ, the easy way to change a sound is to go to your keypad, go to the numbers, and if you know the number of your sound, you just dial it in, and I've actually put it on the sheet. The pan flute solo is number 269, so I'm going to touch 2, 6, 9, and in my window it says 269. So if it's in the window, guess where it is now? It's on the tip of my finger. Now I have to put it someplace. So I want to find the sound that I want to put it in, lower sound or lower genius. I'm going to touch the tab. And now it disappeared from the window, and boom, there it is. It's in that slot. Pretty cool, huh? Questions on lower tabs?
Oh, I did it. Oh. Sorry, I thought I was muted.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll mute myself.
Oh, you guys are cute.
After you touch the screen and it goes into the slot, what slot is that going into?
It's going into the lower genius or lower sound. there should be a tab that says lower sound.
Yeah.
Yep. And if I touch that in the window and scroll until I get to the P's, that's the long way, but you can do it that way. You can just scroll till you get to
Okay,
the
you
pan
get
flutes.
flute, and then you press pan flute, and then what?
Well, you can
After
do
you
it
got
by
it
the
in the
numbers.
window,
Remember, there's 2 ways to do it.
right?
If you touch the lower genius or lower sound, what does it say in the window?
Pan flute.
You've already put it there then. Yeah.
Okay,
You've
so
already
how
put
do
it
I get it back?
It's there.
Because it doesn't.
It's if it
So
says
it's-
lower pan flute solo, it's there. If you touch it and turn it blue, then you can scroll to something else.
Okay.
Okay? But what you want is pan flute
So
solo.
once it disappears,
If you turn the feature clear button off, that screen will disappear, but your sound will stay. Okay, 2 ways to change your Genius sounds. If this is the only thing you learned today, 100% on the good side.
okay.
You have geniuses and sounds all over your instrument. Lower tabs, upper tabs, sounds in the orchestral, or geniuses, sounds in the solo, or geniuses depending on your organ. Those are the ones that you can change. 2 ways to change. Touch until it shows up in the screen. Turn it off, turn it back on. Touch it and turn it blue and scroll until you get to the sound you want, and it's there. You don't have to hit select or anything like that. Or skip what I just said, go straight to the keypad, dial in the number, and now touch the tab, and it will be there automatically. Questions on that?
Oh, touch it.
What was that number again, Dawn?
269. 269.
Okay.
Yeah. 269. Also, it's going to tell you
It
graphic
came up
mixer.
268.
Oh, well, that's pan flute without being solo. That's fine. You can scroll one more. Pan flute solo. If you like pan flute regular, it's okay.
Ah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. See, you learned one thing already. Yeah, that's what
Go
this
take a
is
nap.
about. You may never play the song, but this is just to teach you how to do things and where things are on your instrument.
On a
Yeah.
question about the intro,
Okay?
if I start at A2 for the intro, it's the same notes. Would you play it at that point and so I can hear so I don't have to fool around with that A part or the 1 part?
Yeah, actually, I thought about that later, too. You probably could have done A2 and skipped A1 altogether just by doing a no chord and then playing up here. You could have, yes, most definitely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You could have skipped A2 and just put A2 up where A1 goes and skip A1 altogether. Yes, you could have done that. But I didn't because I do things the long way sometimes.
I'm looking for the easy way.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I thought about that afterwards. That was too late. Yeah, you could have. You could have just used A2 for A1 as well. Yep. And just because when you do the no chord, all you're going to get is drums, and that's all you're looking for. I knew somebody was going to call me on that.
Dawn?
Yeah.
Okay, with that said, then your rhythm doesn't come into play. The soft and easy rhythm doesn't come into play until A2.
Yes, it does, because you have to have the drums.
Right. And you have to push in the chord. So that is true. Okay.
Because you have to have the drums. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, A1 and A2, you could just probably, you could do A1 and A2, just do everything in A1, do everything in A2,
That's what
start
I
with
was
A2.
thinking.
You could
Yeah.
start with A2.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing, basically.
Mhm.
I just made it harder.
That's okay. I'm going to do it in A1.
Telling you, this song took me a long time, and it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's good enough to teach you
Right.
where things are on your instrument. I knew somebody was going to call me on that.
Need it
Wouldn't
to
be me.
You guys are cute. All
Leave
right,
it
any
to
questions
Robert.
so far? No?
I
Okay.
have one.
What we're doing is we're just turning stuff off. We turned off all our background stuff except the drums and the chord. So even on the smaller organs, you turn off your drums, you turn off your basic or genie, you turn off your org plus. You're just going to use the drums and your chord sound for the first part of the song.
Mhm.
So we're taking things away. So you have to know where they are in order to take them away. Yep. And then when you get to A3, you're going to turn your genie or your basic back on. Why? Because we're going to add a little bit of guitar to your pan flutes in the background. So I turn on my genie. Just a little bit of guitar. Yep, so we're building the arrangement. We're building the arrangement. So that's what everything over on this side is for your background, left-hand stuff. That's what's so cool about Lowry. Your right-hand stuff is all over here. Your upper tabs, your sounds, your orchestrals, your solos, that's all right-hand stuff. All right. Questions so far?
Dawn,
Yes?
on your setup on A1, you referred to RP/Vintage 1. I have a symphony. You're talking to rhythm
RP
preset.
is rhythm preset, correct.
And I
RP is
have a
rhythm
normal
preset.
and an organ button. Are you
Normal.
saying push by normal?
Normal 1, yes. Good
Gotcha.
question. Yeah, sometimes
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't say rhythm. It says rhythm preset here, and then it says normal and organ. It's
Right.
normal 1. Good call.
Oh, you go to normal. Okay, and one button.
Normal 1.
Okay.
Go to soft
Gotcha.
and easy guitars, or if it might be in gospel for some of you, but it's normal 1.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good questions. Yeah. It's teaching you where things are on your instrument. That's all this is about. Okay. Let's move on a little bit. What else did I do in A3? Not only did I turn on my genie to get myself a little bit of guitar, I also added stuff in the right hand. I added stuff up here. So when I use red orchestral genius or /sound, if you've got an A organ, it's the genius. If you've got an E organ, it's called sound. And red just refers to orchestral, because I know on your marquees and grand marquees, it's white, it's not red, but it's still orchestral. It's red on the A organs. All right? Right? You got it? And I'm telling you which sound and which number, and we're going to use that same pan flute, and we're going to put it over here. Now, this is the hardest section of the organ, and I'm not going to go into it too much here online because I can actually do an entire workshop on how to manage tabs and reds and blue sounds. Honest and truly, it can get a little bit tricky. If you are struggling with putting the sounds in on your upper, find your PA, your personal assistant at your nearest store, and have them help you with it, because hands-on is the best way to do it, and sit down at your organ. If you struggle with it and you don't have a PA or a nearest store, sit down at your instrument and call me, and I will walk you through it on the phone. Or leave me an email message and say, can you call me and help me with this? I will do it. Okay? This is the hardest part of the instrument to learn.
So Dawn, you're memorizing each A1, A2, A3, each
Correct.
one. You're
correct. So
harder to work. Okay.
that's actually a pretty good thing. Before we go any further, we might want to learn how to memorize. The sequence for memorizing is always the same, but what I don't want you to do is push A1 right off the bat. The first thing you have to do is set up A1. You set up A1 or A2, Robert, I know. And just set it up. Just set up the whole thing. And then, once it's all set up, you can actually play it. Don't touch anything else, but just play it and see if it works. And then you memorize it. Memorize A1. Now, A and 1 are not going to light up. Do not let that get to you. A and 1 will not light up, but your screen will tell you, I am working with I am memorizing to A1. Then you're going to do with style, and I always just do with transpose too, just yes and yes, with and with. If you are on not a touch screen organ, a Journey, a Fanfare, okay, that you will have little arrows that go on either side of the widths. And so with style, okay, up and down. So you just push your scroll arrows so that it says width for both of those. Then when you have in the window memorizing to A1, with and with style, with transpose, then you go back and turn your memorize button off, and that finalizes everything, and then the screen goes away. That sequence works with every single preset. Now, you work from the last one you were on. So when you're ready to work on A2, don't touch A2. Don't touch A2. Work from A1 and now do everything that's listed here. And when it's all done and it plays and you like how it plays, then you memorize it to A2. You always work from what you just did. If you touch A2, all of a sudden everything's not, you're going to like erase everything you just did. But that's okay. Even if you make that mistake, then you just touch A1 and start working A2. A1 is there, just work from where you left off. Once you get everything done, okay, then you do the same thing. Memorize A2 with style, with transpose, turn your memorize button off, and the screen goes away and it says memorize 2. That sequence never changes whenever you memorize a preset. We haven't done anything with a stick or a disc yet, so don't worry. Or putting it into your internal banks. You are now saving it into your organ. You want to do the whole song first. Now here are some other things that people ask me today in the morning class. What happens when if I have to turn off my organ? Do they all erase? Nope. You can turn off your organ and come back the next day and it'll still be there. What happens if I touch the home button or the reset button? Will it erase them? Nope. They're still all going to be there till you come back and want to work on them. What happens if I do a hard 5-finger reset? Will that erase them? Yup. Don't do that. What happens if I go in the screen and do a reset? Is that going to erase them? Yup, that's going to erase them too. Okay, so you can turn your organ off, you can touch the reset button, and that's not going to change it. But don't do the hard reset or the reset in the window or the memorize preset reset. Don't do that one either. I do recommend saving to your stick often. Why? So you really seriously don't accidentally wipe them out. Because when you spend hours and hours working on stuff and then you say, whoops, I think I'll go to bed and work on it in the morning. Well, then first thing in the morning, Beverly comes over to my house and she's got a stick. And she's like, I'm so excited, I want to show you what I did. And she runs to the organ and she puts her stick in and she loads it. What happened to mine? They're gone.
Oh.
You erased my presets, Beverly. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Bev.
Yeah, but that's if somebody else or if you load your organ with a different set of presets, the ones you just did are gone. So save often. Save often, okay? That means put your stick in or your disc, I don't care which organ you have, or internally. On the Journey and the Fanfare, you can record internally. You want to put them into the internal banks. And if you're not sure how to do that, come and see me, go and see your personal PA, or call and I'll just walk you through it on the phone. But when you put it onto your stick, you put your stick in, you want to touch save presets, not load, because what you want to do is you want to save your work. You want to save your work to your stick or your disk. Now, what makes me so mad is that they put load and save right next to each other. Terrible. You know why? Because if your finger accidentally touches the other one, you could accidentally erase everything you had. Yeah, so be careful. When you touch save, make sure that when it goes to the next screen, look at the top of the screen. It should say save presets. If it says load presets, cancel that screen, you use your feature clear and start again. Because if you accidentally load a different set of presets, you are starting from scratch.
Dawn,
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay.
What if I had saved it to the stick, and then I thought, oh my goodness, I did that A3 wrong.
Yep.
I upload from the stick, and can I go into that A3 or A2 and make a change?
Yes. Yes. You can go in and rechange. This is the cool thing about saving often to your stick, is that you can then, what I would do is the next day you come back, you might still have everything. You will, unless you've erased it. If you save to your stick, it's still in your organ too. So you can come back and work where you were, and then re-save. Not just one preset, but the whole thing. And save it into the same file. And it will say overwrite.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And you just say yes. And you just replace everything you just did. So yes, that's why it's easy to save your presets, because you can overwrite them and change them whenever you want.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So don't worry about making mistakes. Guess what? That's how you learn.
Now I have one more question. All right, I saved it to the stick on Song Blue.
Yep.
Now I'm doing this thing. Now do I save it just in the same bank?
Yep. You can do it in the same bank.
Oh, because I'm naming it something.
You're going to go in a different file. Correct.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, you're going to go in a whole different file. So Song Blue you've already got on your stick, so you don't have to. You can erase a bank A1 or not, because it's digital. It'll all replace. It'll replace with whatever you're doing.
Comment, Dawn.
Go ahead.
Comment.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody should have a stick in their product all the time. It's a working stick, so that when it comes time to leave, you just have to save and then you're done.
Correct. Yep, that's true. You just save your stuff, and that way you don't have to worry about an accident happening. Yeah.
Right.
But you can shut your organ off. You can shut it off and come back the next day. And if all is well, it'll all still be there. But I agree with you. Be smart about it. If you've worked for hours and hours, don't take any chances. Save it. Save it. Because you can redo it. You can tweak it. You can just go from where you left off and then save everything to the same file and just overwrite it. Now you've added to it.
How many things can you save on that stick?
A gazillion.
Huh?
A million gazillion. Lots.
Oh, my word.
250. Wow. You can do like 250 songs.
So Dawn, what you're suggesting, we put everything in the A bank, even though we have B, C, and D. Just put it in the A bank and label it.
I would. You know why? I have argued with several people on this. You've got A, B, C, and D. Why don't you just fill them all up with different songs? Well, you don't have that much room when you name a file. You can't name all 5 songs. You don't have that much room. Now, if you're doing a series, like you're doing waltzes, you could do 5 waltzes, and you can do as many songs as you have presets. Okay? Wow. You could do it in a group, and then because it's going to save all of them.
Correct.
But if you're doing song by song, personally, I would just do everything in the A file, in the A bank, and then when you save it to your stick, that's one file. And then the next song, do it all in the A bank, put it into the next file, so that it's song by song. It's just easier to find.
Okay.
You can organize any way you want. You can actually put a whole bunch of songs in one file, but now your organizational skills better be like Mona's. You better have, you better have a notebook with everything written down. Okay, but yeah, yeah. And if you've never saved to a stick before, don't be afraid of it, because you can't hurt it. The only thing you can hurt is if you accidentally hit the wrong thing when you go to your home screen and you go to USB. If you accidentally hit load instead of save and you're trying to save your work, that's the only thing that could go wrong. So make sure, double check, read the screen. It should say saving presets and then continue.
Right.
Don't do it so fast that you accidentally hit load and then you hit go ahead and do all of them and you just messed it all up.
So load is if I want to go back and play another song that I had loaded, saved presets to, then I go and find that and load it.
Correct.
Okay.
Loading is from your disc or stick into the organ. You load back into the organ. Same thing if you've got a fanfare or a journey. You load from your bank inside the organ, you load it back into your working area. Yeah, now for some of you, you've done this before. For some of you, this is like second nature because you do it all the time.
One other thing, not all sticks will work in all organs.
That is correct too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've got, as we found out today, Sue Kelly, if you've got a stick that's supposed to be for an A organ, it will not work in the E organ. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's just because Lowry was system exclusive, meaning that their computer was set up to do just A organs only, E organs only. So that's good.
And also, your sticks, you can't put your songs, they have to be on a different stick.
No, you can.
You know, if you're recording.
Yeah, you can. You can record and put presets on the same stick.
Oh, shoot. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. You just have to make sure it's for that organ. Yeah. Your stick and disc can do two functions. It can save and load presets. It can also, there's a whole nother section on the stick, okay? You can record your songs and play them back.
Yes.
That's a whole nother, those are the two functions that your stick or disc
I think I'll put it on a separate stick.
Yeah.
Goof it.
Yeah. Okay, so we actually learned quite a bit already. How are we doing on time? Ooh, yep. Yeah. Are there any questions so far? Any of you that have this sheet, is there anything on here that you don't understand? Because basically it's just following directions. Like I said, editing style, I'm not really going to go into that right now because there's fanfares, journeys can't do it. And easy 10s and easy 4s can't do that, so I'm not going to take a lot of time on that. I may, if Robert asks me to do a workshop, that would be a good workshop to do, but I know he likes to do workshops where everybody's included. So if you're struggling with your edit style, and what does edit style actually do anyway? Let's just tell you what it is. If you touch the top of your screen in an A organ or in the great big E organs where you have a TV screen in the middle, you're going to have a little blurb that says edit style. You touch it and then it comes up with a window that's going to have white rectangles, 3 columns of white rectangles. Those are the sounds that are in your Genie and your Org Plus. They're all the sounds that are in your Basic and your Org Plus, or your Genie and your Org Plus. Those sounds can be eliminated or changed, or volumes can be changed on those. And it's kind of fun to play around with. Like at Christmas time, I like to go to like a foxtrot and just change everything to bells.
Is this what they call layering?
No, layering is just combining more than one sound in your melody. So if you've got in your melody, if you've got like a piano and I want to layer it, let's just put on a piano. And I want to layer it with some strings. I can layer it with some strings. That's layering, putting 2 or 3 sounds together. Yeah, that's what layering actually is. Good stuff. Yeah. There is a
How
part
many
in the
layers
song.
can you have?
Pardon?
How many layers can you have?
Okay, that's a good question too. Depends on the organ. Some you can only have 3, but I will tell you this. An easy 4, an easy 2, an easy 10. You can combine 3 sounds in your right hand. 3 sounds, 2 from the orchestrals and then 1 from your organ sound. And then they can all go to your right hand up here. All right, you just sacrifice them down here. On the larger instruments, how many of the sounds do you actually have? You have 4. You have 2 in red orchestral and 2 in solo. You can actually send all 4 of those to the upper keyboard, correct? So,
Yeah.
so now you have 4, but we're not done yet because now you also have upper tabs. Upper tabs, you can put in a genius or a sound in the upper tab. That's 5 now. You can also put in vocal. That's 6. You can put some strings in. That's 7. You can put in some flutes, which are organ sounds. That's 8. Then you also have, we can get real technical, your theater section, which you can't quite see here. It's that purple section that's over there. Or if you're on a TV screen organ, marquise and grand marquise and arias, you go to your theater section on your screen and you get all purple buttons. Those are all for another sound. So you can actually combine 9 sounds. 9 sounds.
Wow.
Do you want to combine 9 sounds? Probably not.
No.
And if you do combine all those many sounds, guess what? You're going to sacrifice this. On the lower keyboard, you'll have nothing. So you could actually, technically, you could put all those sounds in the upper keyboard and then not put any down there. But why would you want to play that many at one time? I'd say, yeah, let's just put a couple up here and a couple down here, and you're good. That, again, is the hardest part of the organ to learn, is what's going on this right-hand side. So you might just want to play around with that, too, and figure out which sounds are layering with which. How many sounds are you hearing? I know Connie, I don't think Connie's on today, but it takes her like 5 minutes to do this because she's done them before. So she just goes, okay, what is she doing? She's doing this, she's doing this, she's doing this. Memorize. Memorize A4 with. Memorize turned off. Let's work on A5. She doesn't even play anything. She just knows where everything is, and then when she's done, she just goes and plays. So you could just do that, but I really want you to take it a little slower and learn where these things are and what they do. In A5, I want you turning on a bass player. So when I go from 4 to 5, if I go to number 5, I get a bass player now too. Okay, so I want you to listen for what's being added. I have a drum variation. Now, the smaller organs, you probably don't have a drum variation, so you don't worry about it. You skip that part. But a drum variation is going to give you just a little variance to keep it fresh. I'll give you a hint. If you don't want to do these, and you're just using rhythm presets and you're going up and down the line, sometimes your drum variation changes for you. Sometimes your alter style changes for you. I think that's the only thing I didn't use was alter style here. I don't think I used alter style at all.
Number 9.
Well, did I? Oh, you are correct. Thank you.
He's way ahead of you, Dawn.
He's way ahead.
You can't
This
pass
song-
things over by Robert. Nope.
No, this song has 3 sections. Okay, the first section, if you're on a smaller instrument, you don't have to do 1 through 8. 1 through 8, basically, you can play on put it on guitars, put it on smooth guitarist, and put your drummer on, and play it. Play until you get to A9. What is A9? A9 is where the tempo and the rhythm change. A10 is where the tempo and the rhythm change. Last week we did tell you where those were. So if you missed last week's session, go to Patreon. Hopefully he's got it up by now, and just go through and I tell you everywhere the changes had to be made. A9 actually changes at the top of page 271. If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, what's a bustle in your hedgerow anyway? How many drugs was he smoking? Well, good heavens. But that's where he changes tempo and they start to get a little more rock and roll.
Ew.
Okay, so I'm actually having you, if you're in a smaller instrument, like I said, you can do it, but you're going to have to do like a drum solo, do a drum solo, and then change this and change your tempo, and it's going to take a measure, 2 measures, or 3 measures to actually get all that stuff done. So it's going to be a little bit more stuff in between your sections, but it can be done. It can be done. Just don't be fussy about which sounds are being used either. If you want to keep the same sound, just make sure your rhythm preset is off or your style setup is off. Then you'll keep the same sound. So you can do that. You can do that. So when I go from 8, and I'm on the bottom of the page here, and I'm on page 8, I'm going to do the second ending at the bottom of page 270. Go to 9. Here's how it changes tempo, and it changes rhythm. Whoops, I'm going to be an octave up. And you're going to play that whole page on A9. And yes, Hal, there are road map signs there. You're supposed to play that whole page twice. If you only feel like playing it once, just play it once. When you get to the top of page 272, now he's going serious rock. He's going to sing in a screamy voice. And so I changed my guitars to Stratocaster guitars. So I've got a little bit more of an edge to my guitars. And I'm changing the rhythm again. So I went from soft and easy guitars to soft rock to rock 8-beat or basic rock. Rock 8-beat or basic rock. And if you don't have that, old-time rock and roll works just as well because it's basically that same beat. So then I'm going from here. Did the tempo get faster? Yeah. And I'm just using a fill-in on an A chord. I'm just using that fill-in on that A chord, and that's why I made it 2 more measures or an extra measure so that you can go from one to the other and get a feel for your tempo before you start playing. So again, you're going to go from 9, fill in, go to 10, and get a feel for how fast it's going. Okay. There are 3 sections in this song. So yeah, if you've got an instrument, that's why presets are really, really, really going to make it easier for you. But is it necessary to have presets? No, you just have to remember to up your tempo, change to a rock full band, up your tempo a little bit, and then make it a little more hard-edged rock.
Dawn?
Yeah.
On A10, where it says that 131 is that, what did you call that?
Electric Stratocaster. A Stratocaster is a brand of guitar, and
right. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a
if you listen to this song on Alexa, it starts out pretty boring, but by the time he's done, he's screaming.
He's screaming, exactly.
It is really, it kind of grows. At first I thought, I don't even want to learn this song. But then the more I listened to it on Alexa, the more I began to like it. And it's really cool.
It's a cool song.
When you do that, find that Strat guitar, you have to go to number 131 and put it in. How do you do that again?
Correct. Now, again, remember, there's always 2 ways to change a genius or a sound. And when you get to number 10, you're changing your geniuses and your sounds. Ooh, lower tabs. Yeah, lower tabs. We did that with a pan flute to begin with. So now you're going to change. First thing you do is you go to your new music style. Go to your new music style, find the right tempo, just follow everything in order.
So you have to go to the style, okay.
Style first. Then you go to your lower tabs, and there's 2 ways to do it. You can touch it, your sound or your genius, you touch it, it's going to show up in the window, and you scroll until you get to Guitar Electric or Guitar Electric Strat. Or Or, not and, but or, you can just go to your keypad and the number is actually written there, 131, 131. Now it's on your finger. What are you going to do? You're going to put it on that lower tab. And now it should be there.
Right.
That's
Okay.
the easy way. Actually, using your keypad is the easy way. If you don't have a keypad, you're going to have to scroll, and that's okay, because it works. So just follow the instructions. And what is the lower tab again? Lower chord sound. Lower chord sound are your lower tabs. So I want the whole thing to be edgy. That electric strat gives me a little bit more edgy rock and roll sound. Now, if you want to use different guitars, that's where you can get creative. What do I want him to sound like? If you want something a little more growly, you know, try combining a couple of guitars, layering 2 different guitars. There's probably 2 or 3 guitars on here now. But you just try things, and then when I use a duet, then I get even more stuff going on. Guess what? It's rock and roll, but it's only going 88. That's because we started so slow. You know, usually a rock and roll song is going to be real driving. This one's not, because you're starting as a ballad, and then you're building it, and you're just giving it that rock and roll edge. And it changes also in volume, so you want more stuff going on. And if you listen to Alexa or you listen to YouTube, it's going to start real small, and that's why I took out all the things in the background. I just started taking stuff out. And then by the time I started adding them back in, as I went through the song, when you get to number 9, soft rock or different rock and roll or something different, you find a rhythm that's going to be a little bit heavier because you're starting to transition into a little bit more rock and roll. And by the time you get to number 10, as you're winding on down the road, you want to have that harder edge, but you're still only at 88. But you're changing tempo a couple of times in the song. So you can keep it as easy as you want or make it as hard as you want. But remember, this is not an easy song because it has the 3 sections. This is one you cannot play on one tempo and one background for the whole song. It won't work. It just won't work. Okay? Now, if you don't like the song, guess what? Don't play it. But if you learned one thing about where things are on your instrument, you're good. If you have questions, again, go see your PA. Make an appointment with them so that they can go through and help you find where these things are, because the more you know about your instrument, the easier it is for you. And the more fun you'll have, guaranteed. Any questions? I'm going to still do fingering yet. No class next week, don't forget, because next week, and it's just Wednesday. It's only Wednesday, no class. All the rest of my days, yes, I have class. Why are we not having class next Wednesday? Our store is going to be celebrating the 117th birthday party in our store.
That's not Wednesday. Okay.
That's Wednesday, yes. So no class next Wednesday only. Only. All my rest of my days I'll be having class. When we come back the following week, we will do Summer Breeze. Okay?
That'll be July. Will it be July?
The 29th.
29th?
29th, yeah. It'll be last week. Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
In 2 weeks, we should be able to do this song blindfolded.
No. No, I worked for hours on this one. I'm still finding mistakes. I'm still finding things that I could have done better. But you know what? It's a learning. It's to learn how to play, where things are on your instrument, taking things away, adding things in, building an arrangement. That's the hardest one I've ever worked on. So the rest of them should all be piece of cake for me, right? If you need fingering, stick around because it is a lot of pages for fingering. The rest of you, wow, I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate the fact that you like learning all this stuff. And if you don't like learning all this stuff, I'm okay with it. I'm absolutely okay with it. But if you learned one thing today, one thing, you are 100% successful. Call me, email me, tell me
Thank you.
if you liked the class, didn't like the class. I've never done 2 songs in a row like this before, or the same song in a row like this. I just felt like we didn't have enough time to really talk about anything last week, except we did get the roadmap. We did get where the presets need to be changed. And that's about as far as we got.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
Bye-bye.
You are the greatest.
Oh,
That's for
don't
sure.
make my head go totally
Thanks,
bonkers.
Dawn.
It was, and the book we're in is the 70s book, number 367, and we are on page 268, Stairway to Heaven. All right, let's do some fingering. Here we go. E2, F sharp 3, G4, F sharp 3, E2, F sharp 3, E2, F sharp 3, G4, A5, G4, F sharp 3, E2, G3, look out for that one, A4, second line, B5, A4, G3, F sharp 2, E1, D2, circle it, that is a crossover. D2, E3, and I put another little E in between, heaven. So I put another E in between the D and the E and make them both 3s. Heaven. Then put a little check mark in the rest. E2, F sharp 3, G4. F sharp 3, E2, F sharp 3. I changed the next F sharp over the word if, cross it out, make it an E, and make it a 2. F sharp 3 at the end of the line. Now again, if you don't feel like doing that, just play them all F sharps. That's fine. Play it the way you remember it being sung. Okay? Best advice I can ever give you. G4, A5, G4. F sharp 3, E2, G3, A4, B5, A4, G3, F sharp 2, E1, D2, circle it, crossover. D2, and then again, put a little E in between the D and the E and make it a 3. Came for E3, E3. Check mark at the end of the line. Last line on that page, G3, B5, A4, A4, G3, F sharp 2, G3, E1, E1, F sharp 2, G3, A4, B5, A4, A4, G3, F sharp 2, D1. Let's go to page 269 or the second page. D2, E3, E3. Again, I put another little E in between there. Heaven. So 2, 3, 3. Check mark. E2, F sharp 3, G4. F sharp 3, E2, F sharp 3, E2, E2, F sharp 3, G4, A5, G4, F sharp 3, E2, G3, watch that, there's a stretch there, A4, B5, A4, G3, F sharp 2, E1, D2, circle it, crossover, D2, E3, check mark, E2, F sharp 3, G4, A5, G4. Now, I changed the next G to an F sharp, made it a 3, Crossed out the next F sharp, made it an E, made it a 2. In a tree by the brook.
Dawn, can you
Yes.
go over that section, just the last section? The
The
last,
last measure?
Yes.
G4, A5, G4. Cross out the next G, make it an F sharp,
Right.
make it a 3.
Uh-huh.
Cross out the F sharp, make it an E,
And
make it a 2. Then the last E and F sharp are 2 and 3.
I got it.
Okay? Play it the way you sing it. You're going to be fine. Line 3, G4, A5, G4, F sharp 3, E2, G3, A4. A lot of repetition. B5, A4, G3, F sharp 2, E1, D2, circle it, crossover. D2, E3, E3, just like I was trying to tell you to do on this page. They finally did it. Misgiven. So all right, let's go to the next line. G4, G4, F sharp 3, G4, F sharp 3, E2. Last line on that page, G4, G4, F sharp 3, G4, F sharp 3, E2. The last 2 notes on the page, E2, F sharp 3. Page 270, G4, F sharp 3, E2, F sharp 3, E2, F sharp 3, G4, A5. Now, in between that A and the F sharp, put a little G and make it a 4. Look to the west. So it's going to be a G and it's a 4. The F sharp then becomes a 3. The E is a 2. Again, play it the way you sing it. And my spirit, G3, A4, B5, A4, G3, F sharp 2, E1, D2, circle it. Next line, E3, check mark. E2, F sharp 3, G4.
Dawn,
Yes.
Dawn, that measure right there now in that second line. What's the D there?
The D?
The first measure.
Oh, the first D actually is a 2 because I'm tying it. So.
Oh, you're tying it from the last measure.
I'm adding another D. Play it the way you sing it. It's going to be D2, D2,
Oh.
D2, D2. Thank you for calling me on that.
Oh, that's okay. And then you got 2
And then the E is a 3.
Okay.
And your spirit is crying for leaving. I just
Oh,
played it. I just
tied it.
jumped the gun a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's D2, E3, check mark. In my thoughts, E2, F sharp 3, G4, A5, G4, F sharp 3, E2, F sharp 3, G4, A5, F sharp, I'm sorry, G4, put an F sharp in between the G and the E, make it a 3. The E over the word trees is a 2. G3, A4. I think they just ran out of room in some of these places. B5, A4, G3, F sharp 2, E1, D2, circle it, D2, E3. Next line, G4, G4, F sharp 3, G4. F sharp 3, E2. Next line. Oh, I'm sorry, we still have some oohs. The oohs are G4 at the end of the line. Last line on that page, G4, F sharp 3, G4, F sharp 3, G4, F sharp 3, G2, E2, I'm sorry, it's an E, E2. Top of the next page. Oops, I'm sorry, your pickup notes are E2 and F sharp 3, forgot them. Now we go to the top of the next page. B5, A4, G3, A4, G3, E2, D1, E2, G can be 4 or 5, whichever one you like, E3, E3, D2, E3, low B1. There's some tricky spots on that page. Second line, E3, G3, G3, B5, A4, G3, E2, G1, I'm sorry, that's a D, D1, the G is a 3, the E is a 2, or if you want to make it a 1, that's fine. Wherever finger gets there first in that case. Yes, there are two paths, B5, A4,
John,
G3.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That second measure under the C, what was that, G?
G is a 3.
Okay, and then you have another little E in there, right?
The E, yeah. No, because, no, that's just for the May Queen.
Oh,
That's,
so you didn't put that extra E in there?
Nope, I didn't do it there.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so then what's
It's just
the
a
E?
spring clean. I don't know what a spring clean for the May Queen is either. Play it the way you sing it. It will be right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, yes, there are two paths, B5, A4, G3, A4, G3, E2, D1, E2, G4, E3, E3, watch out for that, D2, E3, low B1. That's a little tricky in there too.
Yeah.
G3, B5, A4, G3, E2, D1, G3, and then I changed the second G to an E and made it a 2, and then the last E is a 2. There again, the road you're on. And again, play it the way you sing it. First ending, last line, A4, 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 G3, G3. And now we turn the page, and we have 2 more pages. Page 272, E2, 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 G4, F sharp 3, E2, D1, E2, 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 G4, F sharp 3, E2, F sharp 3, F sharp 3, E2, 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 high B5, A4, G3, F sharp 2. Let's go to the third line, F sharp 2, G3, F sharp 2, E1. Check mark, E2, E2, E2. Actually, you could have left it a 1. You could have left it a 1. That would have been okay. E's are either 2 or 1. High B5, A4, G3, F sharp 2, F sharp 2, E1. Check mark. E2, 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 G4, F sharp 3, E2, F sharp 3, F sharp 3, E2. E2, 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 G4, F sharp 3, E2, F sharp 3. And the last page, wow, F sharp 3, E2, 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 G4, F sharp 3, E2, D1, E2. Second line, E2, 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 high B5, A4, G3, A4, B5, A4. Now E1, 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 G3, F sharp 2, G3, G3, high B5.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn,
Yeah,
you know, you gave us a whole bunch of notes in that line there.
I did.
On the second measure, it was EG all 4 times, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and those are stacked, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
okay.
then you're going to slow down and you're going to do this.
Okay, but now that's up a little bit. So that could you give us those notes again on that measure?
I can.
Okay.
It's 4. It's going. I wrote it in the third measure, and it's going to be 4 chords. Chords meaning
What line are you on?
I'm on line 3 where you've got the high B flat. Yeah.
Yep.
Cross out the F sharp and the E at the end of those lines. You're gonna make 4 chords in the third measure, and then the last chord goes where that F sharp that we're not using is. Okay, and those notes are E and B on the bottom. Those are going to be always the bottom 2 notes. Your top note is A, E as in elephant, B as in butterfly. The second one is G as in gorilla, E and B. The third one is F sharp as in sharp fish, E and B. The fourth one is A alligator, go back up to that, E and B, so it's got one more. In that last measure, you're going to put G, gorilla, E and B. And I don't know if you can see my fingers because I've got these 2 fingers on the E and the B, and then my pinky just changes. Oh, I guess I use all my fingers.
So from lower to higher, it's A, B, and then
no, from higher to lower. A, E, B, G, E, B, F sharp, E, B. It's that only that top note is changing. The E and the B stay there. The top note changes. A, G, F sharp, A, G. Only that top note changes. The bottom 2 notes are always E and B.
Oh.
And then the last line, I didn't even do fingering. Whatever fingers get there first.
Yeah.
Dawn,
Yes.
Dawn, on the top line on that page, on
Uh-huh.
273, in the second measure, the last D, did you change that to an F?
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Okay.
All those notes are the same as they are. Yeah, all the notes on that page, except for the ones that I just wrote in, those extra chord thingies,
Uh-huh.
they're all the same. All the notes that are as written.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. And remember, that last line, you're just going back to... And no background. You're just playing it a cappella.
That's just how he does it.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the only note I added, was that little D before the E. Heaven. Yeah, do it just the way he sings it.
Yeah.
And you didn't have any fingering for that last line.
No, just whatever you want. Okay, let's do it this way. G1, A2, I know David wants it. G1, A2, B3, A2, G1. F sharp 3, that's a crossover, circle it. G4, F sharp 3, E2, D1, D1, G4, the D that we wrote in is a 1 and the E is a 2.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. You guys are the bestest.
Made
Don't
my
forget-
day.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Dawn.
You're very welcome. Can't do it without you. Remember, if you have any questions, email me, call me, go to your PA, get some help from them because they'll be more than happy to show you what you're doing, and they'll probably have fun with it too.
Okay,
Thank you, Dawn. Very good.
And
Thank
then
you
we'll
so
do Summer Breeze next time, and I'm going to make it easier, I hope.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome.